So Walter, when I look at this forest composition, it looks like a scene that I've just wandered into, and it's a scene I might not be familiar with. Can you tell me what you were thinking as you started conceiving what to do with this wonderful material you found?
Well, it's not a forest, it's a clump-style, but it looks like a forest. It was formed according to what I think are the rules or sort of the feelings for a forest. And it does not matter whether these roots are together when you call it a clump-style, or whether they are individual trees. So for those who have not done this before, forget about the clump-style. You will never find roots which look like that and which make you happy. It will take 30, 40 years before that looks good. That's how long it took to do this one. So if you want to form a forest, get individual trees. Okay. So the feeling is, for me, should be that somebody totally innocent stands where you stand, where the camera is, looks at this and says, "Oh, Walter, this is a nice forest." Period. Okay. So how do you make a viewer say that? Well, there are certain rules which are in the books on the internet, and they're okay. So you follow these. Okay. Make sure to find the right trees. What's the right trees? If you want a forest, let's say of 15 trees, you need 30 trees, okay, at least. You find trees which look similar but not the same. They rhyme, but they're not the same. What does that mean? That means you find probably the best is from one sort. If you have junipers or spruce or whatever, try to make them the same variety. So do not have one variety blue-green, one light green, one yellow-green. No, make them all the same. The best is if they are actually from a nursery, the same tree anyway. So make sure you have difference in height and difference in width. And of course, the higher ones should be the thicker ones, and the shorter ones should be the thinner ones. Then you make sure to have a good height, and it's usually always the case that you drastically cut your tree short. Take your highest tree, which is the master. Okay. Nowadays, it's not only the master; it's a female boss. Females rule the world, don't they? So she's there, and she stands, and she commands the place. Okay. Now make her the right size, and then adjust everything according to her. The next that must be the next most important tree, and that's clearly shorter, but not a bit, but clearly shorter than the third. And then come a lot which are about the same, and then small, and then some small ones. And they should also vary by thickness, meaning the shorter one should be thinner. They should always also have a bit similar sort of appearance. If you want a formal upright sort of forest, where the main tree is formal upright, it's a good idea to choose the smaller trees also to look somehow formal upright. Okay, but it's very difficult formal upright anyway. Make the informal upright. While most people in a playful manner want to make a mixed forest, I warn you, it is not a good idea, because it's so difficult to make that look good, and at all times of the year, etc., etc. Also gardening, watering, and so don't do it. So okay, that's about it. So and then plant them in a manner that doesn't look like somebody planted them. It's like, do you know how to plant crocuses in your front yard? You don't plant them like, then somebody will say, "Oh, the crocuses look fine," and it's clearly somebody planted them. You take 2 handfuls of crocus bulbs, turn backwards, and just throw them back. And wherever these landed, you plant them. And that looks cool. This is, in a way, you do the forest. So what I usually do, I take the mother tree and put her at a good point, which is usually never in the middle, It's never very far out. It's probably at about a bit 1/3 close to the middle, and put her so that she looks good. If I put it on her on the left side, it's good if she had the longer branches on the right side. Okay, and this is what happens here. And then I put the next one, and then the small ones around, and then some in the back. And then I have this sort of upright looking tree. Then I take some small little guy wires, and now look what I do. This upright tree, I fan out. You see what? I do this. And then it's like standing in front of a tree. And if you have these very straight trees in the forest and stand in front of them and look up, they go like that. So if I do this, you have this feeling, this is a very high forest. And the small trees in the back give you the feeling of depth. So this is basically what I'm doing to form a forest. And the rest is I trim them, and maybe I wire them and style them and then trim them later on so that they look like one big family. So if I trim that with more horizontal branches, also the rest should have more or less horizontal branches. Not exactly the same, but similar. They rhyme. And this is the result. This, of course, was not styled like this. This was found like this. So that's once in a lifetime. And I didn't find it probably before the big war in the northern islands of Japan, which now belong to Russia. This was found. So this is a very, very old bonsai, probably already about 80, maybe 100 years old as a bonsai. And it was found at a place which is very, very far away from the mainland of the main island of Japan. And there, at that time, they went with their boats and got them. And for some reason, this came into my garden. And that's the result. Thank you very much.
One of the things that really stands out to me about the composition is that the trees feel taller than what I normally see in these kind of multi-trunk compositions. How did you treat the branches that created such scale that makes it seem like we're standing amidst a giant forest?
Well, how do you make the tree? I let the tree grow high, much higher than it should be, so that it fattens up. Especially the higher trees, I really let them grow high, having one big long branch going up, and which is a sacrifice branch, more to thicken them up. So, and then they are taller. Well, that's because of proportions. I want this in a very nice looking forest, but dramatic, not just nice. It's an ancient forest. You can see this is very old, and this must be having very difficult, and also from a horticulture point of view, you can see this is just sitting on this slab. And people wonder, how does this survive? And that's you should have this feeling. This is a happy tree, but he's living on an island where there's not much to live on. But he manages, or she. Okay, so that's the feeling. Did you see the sheep back there? That's a little piece of kitsch, which I can do because I'm old enough for that to play with it. You don't do this in Japan, but in my garden you can do it.
And I see there's wonderful moss and other small plants growing at the base. Do you cultivate that moss, or does it appear naturally?
Well, you can plug on moss, but it does not really work usually. I have a lot of beginners in my classes who bring these trees in here, and then they say, I want moss. I say, okay, do you want to breed moss or bonsai? They think it's a joke. No. On our normal modern substrate, moss does not like to grow. Moss likes a very firm base, which is always moist, always, and the modern substrate isn't firm. You can stick your finger into it. So moss somehow has to appear by itself. Usually that's after 10 years of growth, especially if you don't repot too often, then the moss appears. And then it becomes natural, and this is all natural moss. I have not planted a single piece. No, I take that back. I have used a trick. You collect some good-looking moss somewhere, okay, and hack it to pieces, okay? Hack it to 5,000 pieces, and then throw all these little pieces over there. And a few of these will take, okay? and that will be the start of the moss colony. This is a genuine strawberry. Actually, you can eat that, okay? And these are, well, from some people, they are weeds. I think this is a most welcome traveler who just stranded on this island and sitting there. They're hanging down and having these red berries. I find them kind of cool. On some of my trees, they're a bit too much. I know that, but I can always take them off. Okay, so some of these are invasive. Strawberries, by the way, are invasive, but you have to a bit control them.
Well, thank you so much for a tour of this most wonderful island.